The Bitcoin structure remains to be looking very weak, but for the first time in 2 months' time, we are finally creating somewhat of a higher low structure. And on today's update video, obviously, I want to discuss the reasons why we have been weak, most certainly on the last few days here. I'm going to talk about this higher low structure, what it means for the bigger perspective. I am, of course, going to break down all the reasons why we are seeing some weakness in the market right now. I'm going to talk about the big stimulus that is right now getting started in the US market, and so much more will be getting discussed, including my upcoming trades I am planning to take on Bitcoin right now here. I'm going to be breaking it down, how I'm going to be approaching it on Ethereum, on Bitcoin, and so much more. So don't forget to once again slap the like button back above. 1,000 likes will be highly appreciated. And let me jump straight away in today's update video. So first of all, why did we yesterday saw this big weakness coming back in towards the market? And that is all due to the effect of the Japanese bond market breaking. And if you don't know, what basically happened in the last few years here is that basically in Japan there were very low interest rates. And since these interest rates in Japan were much cheaper than anywhere else in the world, everyone was basically lending money from the Bank of Japan. But right now, since the first time in a very long time, obviously, we have seen that the interest rates on the Bank of Japan have started to increase. And now there's a confirmation that most likely we're going to get another 25 basis point rate increase in December. And this started to spiral the market basically into more and more concern, because now all this lending that has been going on here, they out of nowhere has to start repaying these loans here, which are, of course, extremely expensive. And due to the fact that Japan is also the largest holder of US treasuries, and a lot of US investors have been getting these cheap loans in Japan, the market is starting to fear a little bit. It's starting to break a little bit here. And actually, that was one of the reasons why we yesterday saw some uncertainty in the market. I mean, if we're looking at the S&P 500, it already have recovered. Yesterday, obviously, we first saw a big drop here, but now it's starting to recover already, and people starting to see that it is maybe not so worse as everyone has been expecting. But for sure, we are seeing more and more signs that some parts of the economy are starting to break here. And what also happened yesterday is that, and then this morning, I woke up and I found out that actually the Federal Reserve injected $13.5 billion in the banking system, which is the second largest liquidity boost since the pandemic crash year. So that is actually very interesting what we're right now seeing. We are seeing clear stimulation coming from the Federal Reserve. And of course, this is aligning with the quantitative easing, which is started on December the 1st. And also later in December, on the December the 10th, in 8 days from now on, we're going to get another interest rate cut here. So, while Japan is tightening their monetary policy, the US is starting to loosen it again here, since there is a lot of liquidity problems in the market. So, we are basically seeing two sides of the story. And I mean, if I'm just currently looking at the Bitcoin chart and don't look at the news whatsoever, I can finally start to see that we're creating somewhat of a higher low structure. But for me, the strategy really remains to be the same here. I mean, I am going to go in a long position only in the case Bitcoin is going to be seeing a fast break below the support level back towards the 72,000 US dollar level. That is, of course, where previously around 6 or 7 months in a row Bitcoin got rejected from. That is most certainly a level where I will be interested in accumulating on spot and a side little leverage long position. Or in the case Bitcoin is going to see a very strong bounce towards the upside, I'm also interested in opening up a short position on the previous range high in the market. So that is basically this strategy right now here. And all in all, for this strategy, I just need to be patient. And if you want to be copy trading me or staying up to date on this trade, or stay up to date on other trades we're taking in the VP Telegram group here, don't forget to join it by using the second link in today's video description, because by signing up an account using that second link below, guys, you can join that group where a lot of information is shared, not only by me, but also by 5 other professional traders. So make sure to check it out. It's super, super valuable. But like I said, we're starting to create a higher low structure, and maybe this could potentially mean that we're creating a somewhat of a short-term bottom. But all in all, for me, it's going to be important to see the break above the 93,000 US dollar level, which is clearly the range high of this previous range here. So this is going to be an important level to be retesting for Bitcoin. And if we can start to break above it, it is obviously going to be looking a little bit more better. But ultimately, that level I just talked about has been the yearly open candle. And so far, the yearly open candle got us rejected quite heavily last time around here. So yes, we're still seeing that the total cryptocurrency market cap is trading on a big level of support. But ultimately, whenever we're going to be breaking down below this 100 weekly moving average, which we are right now retesting already for 3 weeks in a row right now here, we could be expecting somewhat of at least a 30 to 40% correction, because historically, for example, in 2022, whenever we broke below this level, we saw 60% correction approximately. 2020, we saw 45% correction. 2018, 48% correction. Then in 2014, a 55% correction. So a 30 to 40% correction is going to be most likely to happen whenever Bitcoin does break below this level. And let's say we're going to take it conservative, it's going to be a 30% correction. It will bring us all the way down to about $57,000, which is also corresponding with the likely bottom zone and is corresponding with the 200 weekly moving average. So, and in case it's going to go a little bit deeper than that, it is going to be very great buying opportunities for Bitcoin. So I'm not saying this is going to be happening, but I do want to be warning you, if Bitcoin breaks below this very critical level of support, yes, I do think that if we retest that $72,000 level, I think we could see a short-term bounce here for Bitcoin. This also will not be a long-term trade, but a short-term bounce there. But ultimately, there are going to be very exciting setups going to come our way in case Bitcoin is going to be breaking down. And ultimately, that is where I'm waiting for, because my next big trades, I want to be taking either on this big push higher or either on the next dump towards the downside, right? So I am still waiting with my orders. And that is why I want you also to stay up to date in the VIP Telegram group, because either you can copy trade me there, you can just stay up to date live on whenever the market is crashing. So I'm going to be opening up my trades first over there. So stay up to date over there. But also, there is right now an insane deposit bonus you can currently claim on WeX by signing up an account using that first link below here, because you will not only get a 25% fee rebate, making this one of the cheapest exchanges to operate from, but also they're giving away an insane 50% futures bonus on your first deposit on the exchange after signing up an account using that first link below. So check it out. It's super, super valuable. Further on Bitcoin, obviously most of the charts are still indicating we are somewhat in a bear market for Bitcoin. And if I'm going to be talking about the next big level of support, it is all talking about the $70,000 level, which I'm very much interested from. And for ETH right now, yeah, I mean, we're currently retesting this 9 to 10 week resistance range where we got rejected from multiple times before here. Now it is flipping into support. It is also corresponding with the Fibonacci golden pocket entry. This is, of course, a level of much interest in my opinion. And ultimately, if we're looking at this level, a bounce for Bitcoin is going to be, a bounce for ETH is going to be most likely from up that range here. But ultimately, I cannot stress enough about it. Ethereum is just going to be following the footsteps of Bitcoin. So in case Bitcoin is going to be seeing another big push towards the downside, it's just not going to following it. And I mean, yes, it is a very important level of support, but if Bitcoin drops another 20%, Ethereum is just going to be following. So yes, Ethereum is, in my opinion, looking good here. But since Bitcoin is technically speaking looking like it is entering a bear market right now, I do think Ethereum can still get quite hammered. So I am currently staying away from ETH here until I clearly can start to see there's going to be a bottom formation on Bitcoin, or whenever potentially we're going to be opening up that short position. So that is basically the strategy for me right now here. It is not a very difficult strategy to trade right here. I'm going to keep you guys up to date on the next trade I'm going to be taking, but all in all, I just have to be a little bit more patient, show and get some more volatility on the market before I can open up that next big trade here. So anyways, thank you so much for watching towards the amazing new update video. Subscribe to the channel, slap on that like button, and see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.